Welcome Ghosthackers! In this video I want to show you how I like to fatten up my drums with acoustic drums, layering up like a tech house beat with acoustic drums through this little thing I made. Right, so the drums of this beat sounds like this. Very minimal, but there are lots of little details there, and the instrumentals. We have a Serum vocal chop and an operator for the bass. Again, very minimal stuff. So let me show you the drums without the acoustic loop, or what it's not a loop, but the acoustic additional drum hits. So this is the full, and the one without the acoustic ones. Very, very minimal stuff. Let me show it to you. We have one kick, one clap, an open hi-hat, a shorter one, and a longer 909 style open hi-hat. So altogether they sound really nice, especially with the instrumentals. But to gear up the beat, we need additional hits. So this is why I added the acoustic ones. And I love how all these add together to create a full, very fat and very filled with detail sound. So let me show you the group. We have an acoustic drums group that sounds like this on itself. So I started with a snare. This is the snare that it sounds on itself. So I'd like to play with the shifter, that is a frequency shifter, a pitch shifter and a ring modulator in one device in Ableton. So find a sweet spot, especially for the bottom part where we have some lower frequencies that creates the tonality of the sound. So this is why I love to tweak it like... And I felt that on -30 it sounds great. And I had to filter the very lows because, you know, we have a very heavy hitting kick drum and I didn't want to conflict with the lowest frequencies or the lower frequencies of the kick drum with the low frequencies of the snare drum. This is actually very important, and I boosted the mids to cut through the mix a little better. So we have a clap that sounds like this, and it sounds so cool on itself, but altogether with the snare they mustn't kill each other. So this is why I had to, you know, boost a little in the mids. So this way the snare cuts through along with the clap very, very well through the mix. And with the drum bass I added some extra transient shaping and another EQ to the end. So as you can hear, the snare adds a huge punch to this whole groove, and I love it. Let me play the beat without the snare and then with the snare. So as you can hear, it makes a huge difference. Okay, so then I wanted to add some extra hi-hat. So this loop on itself sounds like this. But I had to change it a little, especially adding some huge compression with the Multiband-Dynamics. And actually, this time it is just one band dynamics. I just prefer to use it because it is so simple to, you know, manipulate it with dragging these bars up and down to control the ratio and the threshold. And then a shifter again. To find a sweet spot with the other sounds, and then I dialed back the dry wet because I wanted to add back the original timbre of the hi-hats. And of course a huge EQing here. Now this can be an interesting addition if you leave the lower frequencies of the hi-hat. This can add a very nice and very rusty kind of feel to your beat. Let me show it to you. It's so rusty and so vintage sounding thing, especially on the mid-lows here, like around 200 Hz. I love it, but I decided that, you know, the whole thing sounds a lot cleaner, a lot better if I just chop them off. And at the end, the utility is here to sidechain the hi-hat loop. I didn't want to mess up the transient of the kick with these hi-hats. And actually, I find this very important when I want to create very snappy and like clean sounding mix, especially on the drums. Okay, then let's go to the fills. I love this again. This is how it sounds originally. I decided to play with it a little, of course without lower frequencies, and I had to add a huge amount of saturation to make it really punch and cut through the mix again. And this part actually is important, is exciting or interesting, because I just took the kick and cranked this up by 2 octaves, almost like a little more than 2 octaves, and a little more by 3 octaves to create a weird percussive kind of thing, but all together with the other sound, it's very techy, I love it. Then to create a percussion loop, it adds very tiny details to the groove, like when you're listening to, okay, what this is, I don't know, but it's just, you know, basically just a snare, like a ghost snare, that I just left as it was originally, and the next hit, I just transposed them up by 6 semitones. But it almost sounds like it's a percussion loop, but it's not. It's actually just snare or a ghost snare and pitched up and down. And again, I had to make some drastic EQing. And the ride. It sounds almost like a 909 ride, and it completes the groove perfectly. Even if I deactivate the clap, it still sounds cool. Right, so as you can see, we can do a lot of things with acoustic drums, like adding little details into the background of your beat or adding fills or whatever you feel. But don't forget to subscribe to Ghosthack's channel, and see you guys next time. Peace.